Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with our main topic today. We're discussing President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's meeting with visiting Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed al-Sudani to Egypt, and discussing boosting cooperation between Egypt and Iraq. And also they discussed several topics. Among them is the trade exchange, investment, security, and also the infrastructure. Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phone with our dear guest, Dr. Hassan Waguih, Professor of International Relations. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Well, Dr. Waguih, President Sisi have met with the visiting Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed al-Sudani, and they discussed several topics. Among them, of course, is enhancing the bilateral relations and cooperation in several fields like the trade exchange and investment. Could you comment on this, please?
Yes. I think this visit is very important because Egypt and Iraq are two big Arab countries, and they are supposed to be together in facing unprecedented challenges in the area and in the world these days. So it's very important, and the President and the leadership has started this cooperative move several years ago, and now we are supposed to enhance and support the efforts for enlarging the scope of cooperation.
Yes, Doctor, always President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is keen, after Egypt have established national mega projects. The President is very keen on the idea or the field of investment, attracting investment to Egypt, or helping other countries in trade, and especially in the infrastructure. So what is the size of cooperation between Egypt and Iraq in the investment, and also in rebuilding Iraq, especially in the infrastructure, as Egypt have a very good experience in establishing or boosting the field of infrastructure?
Yes, the Prime Minister of Iraq yesterday commended very much the efforts Egypt has already exerted, the achievement in Egypt. And the Prime Minister is seeking the Egyptian cooperation after having seen good accomplishments. So the field of cooperation is wide because we have foreign affairs cooperation, housing cooperation, trade cooperation, electricity cooperation, and rebuilding Iraq.
Yes, yes. So, Dr. Waguih, the importance of strengthening relations between Egypt and Iraq, as well as supporting the bilateral relations and the Arab countries, the importance of this.
What's your question again, please?
Yes, the importance of strengthening relations between Egypt and Iraq, as well as supporting bilateral relations. And that was very clear as Egypt, there was for several times a tripartite meeting that gathered Egypt, Iraq, and Jordan.
Yes, it is actually. It is not bilateral, it is trilateral.
Yes.
Yes, Egypt, Jordan, and Iraq are cooperating together, and in all these fields that I have already mentioned. And I think these are very important. This is very important economic gathering because the challenges are the same, and the countries could really enhance the cooperation between the countries, could really help all of them, so on a win-win basis.
Yes, Dr. Waguih, the importance of bilateral cooperation between Egypt and Iraq on the political level in light of the close and historical brotherly ties that unite the two countries.
Where is the question?
Yes, Dr. Waguih, what is the importance of the bilateral cooperation between Egypt and Iraq on the political level in light of the close and historical brotherly relations and ties that unite the two countries?
Actually, Iraq has, let us remember that history is very important.
Yes.
Um, when we were talking about Damascus, Baghdad, and Cairo were the world cities. They established great civilizations. So there is a lot of good history behind these cities. So I think that, and the world is recognizing the great civilization of these countries.
Yes.
So I think the historical basis is very important to build a good future and to be motivated in building that future because of this glorious past. And the roles are the same. The good geopolitical facts, we have to work on it, develop it, and return back to the scene for sustainable development. These are countries, they are supposed to restore their glorious history, and this history is very important when it comes to this. The futuristic, we are calling it futury now because we connect history with the future. So I hope that we have better future for all these countries.
Yes. So, Dr. Waguih, to what extent does the frequency of mutual visits between the leaderships of the two countries contribute to enhancing benefits from both parties' potentials in various fields, and especially the cooperation in the field of security?
Yes, I think the recurrence of the visits between the officials in the two countries is obvious, especially in the last 2 years. And I think, yes, the issue of security could not be conducted on an individual basis. To have security in this area, fighting terrorism, fighting fanaticism, I think this needs regional and world cooperation. No one country could stand by itself and living in isolation.
Yes, so Dr. Waguih, how important is it to strengthen the mechanisms of joint Arab action in facing the current crisis and challenges in the region?
Yes, actually, we have to take into account that the Arab League should play a very big role in this to restore the Arab system, to re-establish the Arab system strong again. And from this perspective, there are regional blocks. Egypt, Jordan, and Iraq are supposed to be good blocks for cooperation. And if we have this kind of cooperation with other countries, that's very good. But at least this trilateral cooperation has very great potentiality for developing the countries in the region.
Yes, so Dr. Waguih, also on the other hand, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and the Iraqi Prime Minister have chaired the work of the Egyptian-Iraqi Joint Higher Committee at the government headquarters in the new administrative capital. And a number of agreements and memorandum of understandings were signed. So could you shed light on the memorandum of understandings that were signed, please?
Actually, yes, there are about 11 of memo of understanding, and they are supposed to be in several fields, this including the economy, foreign affairs, administrative development, tourism, trade, sports, social solidarity, and the planning. So the cooperation is taking a very wide scope, and there are about 11 memo of understanding, which shows how big is the cooperation is taking place.
Yes, also the Iraqi Premier al-Sudani said that his country affirms its supportive position for Egypt on the Libyan and the Sudanese issues. How is Egypt and Sudan, Egypt and Iraq have the same stance and point of views concerning Libya and Sudan?
Yes, of course, as some of the world historians said, that the Arab world is like a big bird. The body is Egypt, Sudan, and Libya, and the giant bird has wings in the Gulf and in the west of the Arab world. So I think when you have the core intact, when you have the core is working to right, I think it helps the periphery. So I think enhancing the situation here for exerting more effort to re-establish stability in both Sudan and Libya is of extreme importance to the entire Arab world and for the entire Arab system, and specifically for Egypt, because they have direct borders with Egypt.
Yes, Dr. Waguih, what do we expect after the visit of the Iraqi Prime Minister to Egypt and his meeting and his accompanying delegation and his meeting with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his meeting with the Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli? What are your expectations for after this visit?
Let me tell you that this expectation is wide open for much more potential cooperation. The two countries really have great cooperation, but the potentialities are greater. So when we reconsider again that the cooperation in the last 2 days covered water resources, irrigation, housing, environment, justice, health, and anti-dumping, all this, and even consumer protection, all this kind of cooperation, I think it tells you about the great potentialities with capital C.
Yes, Dr. Waguih, during the meeting between the Iraqi Prime Minister and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President al-Sisi stressed Cairo's stance with regards to the stability and security of Iraq. Could you comment on this, please?
Of course, Egypt is so keen about the security of Iraq, and Egypt helped Iraq several years ago when it came to re-establish Iraq and getting Iraq on the Arab course for cooperation and for sustainable development. So I think that the cooperation is very historic, and the closeness is very historic between the two countries.
Yes, back to the tripartite meeting that took place between Egypt, Jordan and Iraq. There was several tripartite meetings as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi went to Iraq, and also there was other meetings in Jordan, also a tripartite meeting between Egypt, Jordan and Iraq in Jordan. What were the outcomes of these several tripartite meetings for the sake of Iraq? Hello?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Yes.
Yes. Of course, we have said several times now that cooperation between the two countries and the three countries are very important and very needed for enhancing the sustainable development of the area. And we've mentioned how close is the relationship and the recurrence of visits among the president and officials of the three countries witnesses this kind of potential cooperation, existing cooperation, and the potential cooperation. And thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hassan Waguih, Professor of International Relations. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us over the